We're live. And we're live.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. It's been a week. So, for those of you who don't know, last week after the week before last, after Feature Focus Friday, I got the ban hammer from the Face Bonks for quote unquote inciting violence because I suggested that if we're going to make it a law that says that after you make a certain amount of income, you get taxed at 100%, that maybe we should attach something to the law about how the federal the federal politicians make money and take it upon the people to redistribute all of their funds beyond their salary and also go after their families and friends because, well, they are not the only people who benefit off the backs of the people. Apparently that's inciting violence. So there you go. Now you know if you support equal treatment of your political creatures to like the regular citizenry, that's inciting violence. Now you know. It's against Facebook standards to think that politicians should be, like the plebeians that we are. So how's the network doing? Doing pretty good. Our good friend Amy is working out well. She's inviting people, getting people involved, and that's awesome. Greatly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Round of applause.
You're the best.
As far as on the other fronts, I haven't really even checked because I was not allowed to be on Facebook. So I just looked at stuff and then just walked away. Well, what's the fucking numbers they are? Well, we are literally on the cusp of 400. We do have some new posts of people who are doing their own thing and would love to see if we can get some of those people out over here onto the network live to talk about their projects. We'd really like to see people like Steve Ignat and Laura Lee and the Brown County Forest Farming LLC people. We want to see everybody. We really do. And we want to hear you guys talk about your projects, not just have us blah, blah, blah all the time. Because that's what this is about. This is about getting you guys out there and not so much about us chit-chatting about how we support you guys, but we want to hear from you guys on what you're doing, how you're doing it, and any, since you guys are out there doing it, if there's anybody who is new to the world of entrepreneurship and building your own business, we want to see, we want to hear from you, anything that you might be able to bestow knowledge-wise onto other people, So there's that. I got this series of weird texts this morning, and
Oh,
apparently, yeah, like weird. Anyway, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this uh, after we get off of here. Yeah, the network was pretty silent on Facebook from my end because I just couldn't do anything. So all the stuff from co-schedule that I normally do. God damn it, cat.
It's hairless cats still get shedded on.
No, I have a hole.
I wonder how.
I thought it was a piece of detritus, but no, it's a hug point apparently for the chunkless. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. That's how the network has been doing. Pretty much everything that's been added to the network over the last 9 days or so has been from Donna and Amy. So round of applause.
Thank you, Amy.
You
I
guys.
appreciate your help.
It was
in
you
this.
too, Donna. Just saying.
I
And that worked out well, I think. But the regular barrage of stuff coming from co-schedule is going to restart, obviously.
There's got to be a way to situate everything where if one of us, if Harry catches a pan,
that's the whole problem is
that
that in order to do that, we would have to have a second scheduler, and that's not going to work out very well for a project that we don't get paid for. If we had funding,
we can figure something out though.
If we had,
we can stream through my end or something.
Well, we can't unless you have a separate co-schedule account.
Okay.
Like I can't even if I make you like a manager on my co-schedule account, it still routes through my Facebook.
Oh, okay.
So you'd have to have a completely separate co-schedule account, and you'd have to pay for it to have
all the bells and whistles.
Not all the bells and whistles, but just the depth option of being able to hit more than just one page. And that's kind of key. And then you wouldn't be able to post anything if it were going directly to my page. So, with that being said, we are where we are with that. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean,
yeah, not much else. The whole last week was kind of a respite.
Yeah, I mean, we did get a large group of people following. Well, a decent sized group of people following. We are like right there, like a couple of people away from 400 now.
That threshold.
That's a milestone. I mean, it's we're not looking at like thousands of people, but every person counts at this point. Another thing, I just had an interaction with somebody on the Facebook about someone was commenting about how the tax code needs to be changed because people who make X amount of dollars are not paying their fair share. Now, mind you, the whole idea of the fair share of being robbed kind of is Stockholm syndrome to begin with, but someone was like, I don't mind paying taxes, blah 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 blah.
Oh, good for them!
And I said,
can do that on a voluntary basis.
And I had said, not for nothing, but saying, well, I don't mind paying taxes is sort of like saying I don't mind being abused. Why does someone else care about being abused? You're being stolen from. If you don't care about being stolen from, that's your business. But if someone doesn't want to be stolen from, that's
Yeah, some of us don't want to be stolen from because, well, we don't support murder. We don't support all these other things that funds.
That was part of what I said, that they use money for criminal activity, and I don't think that that's a good use of my money. And since that's what they do with it, regardless of, regardless of anything, I don't really support taxation, especially income taxation at all. And then she went on this big giant diatribe, and I'm saying it's a she because their profile picture is 2 children, and they have a first name which is more like an occupation, and a last name which is obviously female. And making the claim that they're disabled, and they paid taxes so the government can pay them because they're disabled, and then went into a whole stream of, you must be a Trump supporter, you must think COVID's a hoax, you must be an anti-vaxxer. Basically, literally everything that this woman is against is obviously things that I am. And this goes into a lot of what I've been talking about recently, and it's kind of a serious subject at this point. If you don't agree with somebody and you automatically assume everything about them is your enemy, the government did its job on you. That's what the government does, is it keeps the peons infighting over stupid inane bullshit, because I gave no indication of what my political affiliation is, and anybody who knows me knows my political affiliation has nothing to do with Biden or Trump or political figures at all. Knows that I understand that COVID is a serious disease. I know that there is a shot. I know that vaccines do provide some form of protection against diseases. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm an anti-force person, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if someone chooses to take them, I'm going to laugh and ridicule them. And 9/11 didn't happen, apparently, according to this person. That's what I believe. And January 6th, blah 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 blah. And it reminded me of something, and I think it's kind of important to say, despite the fact that this is not the platform that I would normally say something like this. A guy named Jeff, I forget what his last name is. I posted the thing. Jeff Graham posted, if children started school at 6 months old and their teachers gave them walking lessons within a single generation, people would become to believe that humans couldn't learn to walk without going to school. And that is exactly what has already happened to a majority of the human population. Not walking, but their critical thinking faculties have been completely handicapped by the education system, because they're not allowed to critique the education system. And they're not allowed to critique the educators, and they're not allowed to critique the experts, and they're not allowed to critique the rulers. And anyone who does, automatically it has this reptilian brain reaction of, this is my enemy, and they believe everything, and everything that they believe is an anathema to everything I believe. And that is the end goal of government and government education. And the good news is if you're an entrepreneur, you are making that time for your family to get your kids out of that situation, so that they can actually think for themselves. And I wish you all the best of luck with that. That was the only real reason why I'm bringing this up at all, is because I had the displeasure of having to see that today, so I figured I would share.
And also, speaking about like government involvement with the schools, for a long while, I was kind of against I was against the ROTC being in our public schools. And, there are groups like the Iran Veterans Against the War and others, other, veteran groups that are also against that. And with all the shortages and people trying to scramble to look for people to fulfill the roles that they deemed unessential for the last 20 months in Massachusetts, they're seeking out help from the National Guard for public school bus drivers. So yeah, if you do have kids, and I would suggest, first of all, if you have no other options, do online courses. That's you can avoid putting your kids at risk. I had the good fortune of having my kids in charter and private schools. I couldn't imagine having them in public education, especially right now with all the pandemic and all the chaos that's happening.
And the funny part about that is the teachers are all complaining about kids going to school without the COVID vaccine, despite the fact that they're not aged into it yet, and kids having to wear masks because they don't feel safe. And yet every single faculty picture I have seen from teachers is faculty in a faculty only setting with maybe one or two students wearing a mask, but none of the teachers are. It's just like, how Biden did a photo op with a bunch of volunteer firefighters, and no one was wearing masks, and everyone was all huggy up on each other. No, I'm not saying anything's a hoax. I'm not saying that, this, that, or the other thing. I'm saying that
there are people dying.
It's a telling sign that, they know something that they're not telling the rest of us. It's not a matter of it's a hoax. It's a matter of the severity of this thing may not be as threatening as the measures that were used to thwart it would provoke. Hey, look, it's some Irish bastard.
Hey, McKenna.
You're right. Now you're famous, Kieran. Now everyone's going to know who you are. Yeah.
And there's this other thing. I mean, it's very important to consider exiting the employment, theater.
The employer-employment relationship.
Yeah. Especially if you're in a bigger company and.
Yeah, especially now if you're in a bigger company. It's Irish cunt. I apologize.
He kept it PG for us,
I apologize.
He doesn't know the terms of endearment there.
Bastard sounds so official.
Professional bastard.
The whole thing is what was I going to say?
The whole 100 plus
that's
employees.
Right. Yeah, the whole government deciding to throw around mandates on how we interact with each other on a business level, and companies following suit I'm not naming names of companies because I'm employed at one of them, and I'm not willing to uh, uh, allow them to fire me until they are going to fire me specifically over this virus. But uh, um, when a company and a government combine power to oppress people, well, not even to oppress people, just a combination of corporate and government power, when that occurs, there's a name for that. And the funny thing is that all last year we kept hearing from these people about how fascism is bad, and yet there's crickets now that it's actually happening. Apparently, according to everybody, fascism only happens when you have an orange man in office and creepy Uncle Joe with the hole in his pocket and the candy somewhere in there. That guy can't possibly be a fascist because fascism only comes from orange men who are bad and Germany, and that's woefully not the case. The United States has been a fascist society for, I don't know, like 80 years ish now we're going on. That the marriage of full marriage of corporate and public enterprise has been made formalized.
Well, let's be honest. Since the creation of pre-colonial
Listen,
America,
that's just tyrannical dictatorship.
corporations coming over and granting land grants and bringing over indentured servants. So it's been going on for a long time.
Well, yeah, it wasn't called fascism then.
Yeah, very true.
I'm being fair to the term.
The shenanigans has been going on.
But yeah, the bullshit's been going on since time immemorial. Let's be completely honest. Since the invention of the corporate body in the Renaissance period, one could say that the invention of the corporate body happened in Rome and then was just pushed to the wayside for feudalism. But post-feudal Europe, well, quasi-post-feudal Europe, was where it had its worldwide rise. Okay, but the term itself was coined in the 1930s, and since the 40s, the Italian-German model for fascism has been used in the United States in a very covert, vanilla light form. Since the last 20 years, that has become less covert, and in the last year, it has become much less light. We got the full version starting right now. And all of these people who are chanting about being anti-fascist, and if you don't like Antifa, then you're obviously liking fascism, are suspiciously okay with what's going on right now. So, needless to say, it's a pickle out there. So, with all of the stuff going on with the overt use of fascist policies, I would suggest exiting the employer-employee relationship as soon as humanly possible. There are a few employers that are trying to do their best to make it so that they can sidestep this mandate, because it's not a law, but it's not stopping government officials from treating it like a law. It's not stopping the United States federal government from levying fines on people, despite the fact that it's not legally binding. And that's going to sink or swim some businesses. Now, I do know a couple of employers out there who have actually decided to split their companies. They own both companies, but they split the companies so that one labor department is less than 100 and the other labor department is less than 100, in order to be able to keep up production where it needs to be for them to stay in the business and not have to deal with the fines or the government mandates. So there are ways around that, but the best way around that for the average Joe is to stop being involved in the employer-employee relationship. And the only real way to do that is to start your own business. So you're in the right place if you're watching this. Absolutely, I would suggest you go around the network, take a look at what other people are doing, see what you can do, see if you can find your market niche and fill it. See if you may be able to do what you do for a living right now, just doing it as an independent contractor.
Yeah.
And that's all it really takes. That's really the first step out the door.
Indeed.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. I'm gonna make some dinner.
Sounds good.
I think we're gonna do curry again.
Ooh, that does sound good.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you, Karen, for showing up. Thank you, everybody else, for coming by. We greatly appreciate you. This is you guys are the reason why we're here doing this. So we appreciate everybody who comes and stops by and chit chats with us. Tomorrow is Tribe Shout Out Tuesday. Tomorrow we're back on our regularly scheduled programming for everything. So Bard and Broad will be back, as well as all of our network shows live at 5:30. And if Amy's out there listening, thank you, and get us a guest. Make it so Steve comes on.
Yeah, we got to get Steve on here.
All right. So everyone have a great day. Stay safe out there, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you.